first started teaching classes in 2011, and because I didn't know what BNI is, Business Networking International. I was in BNI for like 6 years. I loved it. I was the education guy. I would go up and just chat about whatever I wanted to talk about for 10 minutes and got really good at it. And one time, two speakers didn't show up, and they're like, hey, will you actually teach us for 45 minutes how you buy property? So I'm like, okay, sure, thanks. So I drew on a whiteboard, and I created these like classes that I taught. So from 2012 to 2017, religiously, I would teach these free classes every single month. There could be 5 people that showed up, there could be 25 people that showed up. And then after 2017, I'm like, I'm kind of done teaching these, I'll just record them and they're on my website. The philosophies are completely the same, just the numbers are bigger. Right, so I have an idea. Raise your hand if you own at least 1 rental property. Okay, 5 rental properties, 10 rental properties. All right, cool. Okay, so here's what I wrote down real quick. If you guys can grab this sheet, I wish I would have started this earlier when I first started because I would have done things differently. So we're going to establish some what's called long-term goals real quick, okay? So I'm going to have everyone write it down. Spencer's going to pass it out if we're missing it.
Wi-Fi, if you guys need it.
Yeah, Wi-Fi. So you're going to write your name on the top right-hand corner. I'm going to make sure Brian passes these in the back so everyone's got one, please. So this is what I wish I would have done when I first started because I would have made decisions way better. So you write your name in the top right-hand corner. You're going to put today's date. And what we're going to focus on is what you want in assets. We need better. What do we want in total assets? So the whole point of this exercise is take last year's income times it by 25 if you don't know how much you need in assets. So if you made $100,000 times 25, that's easy, 2.5 million, etc. If you're married or have a domestic partner, ideally you'd have both income. We want to establish long-term financial goals, okay? And I'm not going to spend too much time on this, but this is important every time you're like, hey, I want to start buying some investment properties. The next part is how young are you right now? So you're going to write down how young you are now, because then we're establishing a massive action plan, establishing where you are now to where you are in the future. Most financial planners, because of the longevity, the average man in the US, I think, lives now 77 years, so I'm 46. I got good 29 years plus other stuff, pending God's grace and good health and other things like that. But I'm seeing people retiring and they are running out of cash in like 5 years. Now that I've done this, been a mortgage lender 23 years, I'm helping a lot of my friends' parents getting reverse mortgages as they're in their 60s and 70s. Where 10 years ago, they weren't old enough yet, but I'm literally having like reverse mortgage conversations with people weekly. I'm not out soliciting them. It's a product that's is available for people to use, but because people don't have enough assets, okay? The next part with this real quick is your ROI. ROI is return on investment, okay? So ideally you want to, so here's a cool example why I like showing this house. So we're going to focus a little bit about higher strategy versus basic stuff. So this is a little higher strategy than my other class, okay? So this is a house I bought with seller financing during the market correction. And right now is a great time you can buy seller financing. You can buy them with less than 10% down. You get awesome interest rates, 3-4%. Don't be greedy and like charge everyone commissions, just like make the deals work. But it's a great time to buy seller finance properties from other people. It's way better than doing short sales. And I bought a lot of my seller finance properties from 2008 to 2013 because I had 20 grand that I could bring someone's house current. I could pay the realtor and I could do $3,000 to $5,000 in minor renovations. Now it's like $50,000, which I have, $50,000, and now it's like $10,000 for minor reservations, or minor improvements. But I have $60,000 easily that I can do that. Now I'm not saying that's for everyone, but I'm sharing. There's different strategies you guys are underutilizing because you're just not thinking about it. So with this house, this is a good example. Like you have a shake roof. We had to get rid of the roof because with the shake, and I bought it seller financing. But like most of the people that start flipping houses or buying properties, they'll like over pimp out everything and they over improve it. This gives you, and I did it also. I've spent probably $4 million in remodeling houses, and that's like money out of my pocket in rentals, not flips, right? So you buy a bunch of doors and you're improving them. So really good for taxes, but not good for cash flow. So a couple things I want to share with this real quick. One is we just painted the shutters different colors. We replaced the roof. We painted the door, we got rid of the wrought iron door. And you know, those are just basic things that people don't think about because they don't know. And I'm from Midvale. I grew up in Midvale Elementary School, Midvale Junior High. I went to Hillcrest High School. I went to college at Utah Valley High School in 2000, in 2001 and 2002. I didn't graduate from college, so there's a lot of people that are more educated than I am formally, but I think I invest I've invested a lot of money and time getting better in my life so I can help other people. So what I want to focus with you guys is active versus passive. Let's write that down. The difference of active versus passive income. Right now, if you're not making as much money as you'd like to as a realtor, you're gonna have to make more active income. So we're gonna focus on flips and rentals. But we're gonna focus these on you guys buying them versus you helping people buy. Does that make sense with everyone? Okay, so here's a deal that can totally still be done in Utah right now. You can buy properties for $227,000. I just helped an investor buy this in the last year. He found it, which is even better. It wasn't me, okay? So you're gonna get hard money. So normal hard money. Has anyone ever borrowed hard money before? Okay, cool. I lend hard money all the time. I'll go over that some more. But on this type of deal, you're gonna be probably $10,000 out of, you can finance it. I'll show you how. Okay, you're gonna finance the property because you're gonna buy this as a rental ideally, okay? So we're gonna go over some fix and flips also, but I'm just gonna share, like, I gotta think differently because I don't know any better. Does that make sense? Because you only know what you know. Okay, so you buy the property, you're gonna fix it up. You're gonna get a conventional loan for $275,000, and here's how that works. You're gonna have rehab, so the first class I teach, which I've taught like frequently, you buy this type of property with $30,000 out of pocket, or if you buy it with a low enough loan to value, what's called your ARV is your after repair value, you can actually finance the repair costs. It's pretty sick if you're working with the right people. So if you go buy a property, you assign the property, Matt, right?
Yeah.
Are you a golfer?
Yeah.
You look like a golfer. Okay. So let's say Matt buys a property and he has an entity set up called I Love Golf LLC. So he adds I Love Golf LLC for a $25,000 assignment fee to himself. So he's going to show income on his settlement statement to his entity. He's going to pay taxes on that, which is not a big deal. But then when he closes on the hard money loan, he's going to get a loan for $275,000. When he refinances the property, because he's going to buy the property with hard money, he finances the rehab with a low enough loan to value, finances the rehab, he's going to finance his hard money costs because I'm not going to charge you points and interest up front because I don't need to, and then because I want you guys to make as much money as possible. I don't need money right now. And then also you're going to refinance the closing costs in your loan so that you're at 65, 70, 75% loan to value. Then you finance all your costs. Most mortgage lenders, what I just explained, have no idea what I just explained because they don't invest themselves. And one reason I don't go teach mortgage lenders is because it doesn't do anything. I should probably coach mortgage lenders how to do this, like out of state. But they don't have any money to even do coaching, so they're worse off, okay? You guys are in a better spot, okay? So with that, I just shared a lot of stuff quick, okay? Yeah. So ideally, when you refinance that property, your payment's gonna be $1,830 based on interest rates, okay? Your rent's gonna be $2,500. 4-bedroom, 2-bath, 1-car garage, not on the east side. This could be anywhere in Davis County, could be in Weber County, probably not Utah, maybe outskirts of Utah County, definitely the west side of here in Solid County, Tooele. Great areas, I own a bunch of rental properties in there. Okay, so here's what it gets really fun. You're not gonna make a ton of cash flow, but you're gonna make enough to navigate, and Spencer should be in here, so here's what's really cool. Here's the one you wanna take a photo of. So, you're gonna buy, out of pocket, could be only $30,000 for the rehab, okay? If you didn't finance it because you didn't know any better. And here's what happens. Most realtors will call me after they buy the deal and they're like, oh, I'm stuck, like normal. I'm like, well, who are you? And what are you trying to do? Okay, cool. Why did you do this? Or like, I just don't know any better. So I'm like helping people just become more aware, right? I want people to be a better way to do it. So if they're out of pocket $30,000, and let's assume you have you just cash flow, like $420 a month is not a ton, but it's decent. Like it's actually pretty good in this market. But it's your cash on cash return is 16.84%. Thanks. You can pass it out. Thanks. Okay. So now let's take this a little farther. Here's where it gets really sick. So I bought my first property 20 years ago. 112 East, 1600 South in Orem for $153,000, okay? Right now it's probably worth $450,000 to $500,000, built in 1993. So we did these calculations, we literally updated this presentation today, because I was like, holy shit, this is so much money. Okay, so if you bought a property in today's market that you bought for $227,000, but your ARV is $400,000, is that let's assume, would you guys all agree that the values in Utah will continue to go up conservatively unless something economic, some catastrophic thing happens, 5% a year for the next 10, 20, 30 years? Yes, have done that since 1991. There's a website called OFHEO. If you guys fill out your form on this, I will send it to you. If you don't fill it out, I won't send it to you. So, Kristen, write down OFHEO website, okay? I will send you guys how you can track national appreciation. This is where the Division of Real Estate gets all their documents from. I just like to study it once a month. It takes me 30 minutes, and by being a high informed consumer, then I'm making better decisions. Because this helps me reinforce, do I want to go out of state or do I want to go in state? And it's just reinforced going in state. So the cool thing is, now we're going to talk about the future. So if we buy the property, I'm not going off the value of $275 now, because that's what I'm financing. I'm going off of the value of $400,000. Does that make sense with everyone? You can literally buy property so low, like I'm buying one tomorrow for $285 in Midvale, that the value is worth $400. It'd be worth $425 to $450 if it wasn't on a busy street. So I took $25,000 off because it's on a busy street. But there's not a lot of houses in Central Valley that you can buy for $400,000 that will be a 3-bedroom, 2-bath house. And my houses look really good. We do a great job. More now than ever. Okay, so back with this, you can find these deals. So here's what's sick. Does anyone have a financial calculator on their phone besides my team? Cool. So action item number 1, please write this down. You need to learn how to utilize a financial calculator. Okay, basic math. There's a calculator called Easy Calculator. I'm not going to teach you how to use it. You can watch YouTube videos. You can become an informed consumer. You got to get familiar with, you know how to charge 3%, you know how to make 3% commissions on real estate deals. Let's learn how to use the calculator. Okay, that makes sense? Like some basic stuff to do. Okay, so here's what's cool with this. So remember, the value right now is $400,000, so we're gonna do some forecasting in the future. So let's say you bought this property and you held it, and you had impeccable, you self-managed it, which you're probably not gonna do, and you had 0 maintenance or repairs, which you don't have either, okay? But I'm just giving you an example. That's where people sell, like, here's the return. Now there's something what's called an internal rate of return, if you wanna write that down. Internal rates of return is when you start more transitioning to commercial properties, because then they take it into depreciation, other taxes, advantages, stuff like that. You buy the property, and you're gonna have a management company take care of the management. Okay, so 10% is very normal. I own a property management company. Kristen is my lead property manager. She does an awesome job. So the cool thing with this though is you're still gonna make a return of 6.8%. That's more than what you're making in like bonds. It's more than what you're making in a money market with the banks, because I have all my money in a lot of banks. But here's what's more realistic, so you guys could do this. Here's what most people do because they're just uninformed, okay? So here's what normally happens. They have a vacancy rate of 25%. So they just mismanage the property. They take too long to rent it out. They take too long to kick out the tenants, and they take too long to get renovate. So we come from I own a bunch of rental properties, so we look things way differently than most property management companies, because they don't own properties themselves. They're just they just don't understand hey, what type of return should we do, or what type of improvement should we do. Okay, so on this, if you think about it, if you have 25% of the year it's not rented out, that makes your cash flow go down a lot, right? And then you have a property manager still, you're gonna have a negative $205 a month. Can most people handle that? Depends on the year. If you make, $250,000 and you live within your means, yeah, that's not gonna really move the needle. It's gonna be good for taxes. But if you have 10 of those, that sucks. That's gonna start draining you. So you gotta take into consideration with that. But think about this. Remember, rents go up. So here's a cool exercise you guys should do. You guys should download the Easy Calculator. We're not gonna do it now, but you should forecast if rents go up 3% a year for the next 10 years, the next 20 years, the next 30 years, how much will rents go up? Well, what's happened with property taxes and insurance? They've gone up a ton too, right? Insurance has gone up a lot, property taxes has gone up a lot. So it's really breaking even with where it's at, could be behind. But here's, as I share, where it gets really good. For those of you guys who hate just seeing a bunch of copy, Brian does a great job, it's a great chart, you can take a photo of this. My opinion is you should not hold your rentals for more than 10 years. Because there's a couple things. One is you've already put a ton of money into it, and due to deferred maintenance, you're gonna have to put a ton of money in again. So rather than just saying, well, I need a tax deduction, we're like, that's not strategic, let's be more strategic. Like, let's maximize the return. And because for this example, this is that same deal, in 10 years, if it goes up 5% a year, it's worth $650,000, which is pretty freaking amazing. And if you don't refinance, your mortgage balance is $280,000. So that means your $30,000 investment has equity of $370,000. That's 28% annually. That's amazing. Okay, that is amazing. If you just buy one of those a year, you're in an amazing spot. You buy 13 in a year like I bought in 2006, then you can go to Abu Dhabi and not think about it, right? You can put a pool in. You sell your house and put a pool. It's not like, oh, I gotta save up, or I'm gonna go buy a camper trailer every other year because I like camping. Okay, then if you guys took a photo, that's the one I would take a photo of. Okay, so when you're talking to your investors, now here's this part two. When you're talking to your investors, you should plan on, hey, we should do a 10-year hold. We need a forecast based on 10 years. Because then you do a 1031 exchange. Has anyone ever done a 1031 exchange before? Okay, so this is a great example. So here's a cool example. If you think about this, when we talked about your assets, and here's where I wrote down 10 million, is because depending on what your expenditures are, how well you live, different things like that, I have a goal that I want to help 1,000 people have a net worth of over $1 million. If you guys want to write this down, you can see where you want to fit. Then I want to help 500 families have a net worth of 2 million. Then I want to help 200 families have a net worth of 5 million. That's where you really like start making some progress. You're like, okay, we have a $5 million net worth. We can actually start doing some really cool things. And then I want to help 100 families have a net worth of over 10 million. And the nice thing with that is they're all steps. Like the conversations I'm going to have for people that have $1 million net worth is going to be different than 2 versus 10 versus 5 to 10. Mine is more than that, but I think like that's a goal that everyone in real estate that are real estate professionals, if they're diligent and actually really focus on that, can achieve it. Like I said, I'm from Midvale, like I didn't have anything like handed to me. Like if I can do it, other people can do it. It just depends on what you're ruthlessly committed to, as one of my friends would say. Okay, so let's think about this. We're giving you, or opening up your eyes of like, okay, really we should own some rentals or own some more. Holding example, property management skills are the key to real estate investing, whether you're active or passive. Because either you're gonna manage your assets yourself or you're gonna manage the manager. Write that down. You're either gonna manage the assets yourself or you manage the manager. Managing the manager does not mean you gotta call them every month, but managing the manager means you need to be strategic of what's happening with the market. And you guys as real estate professionals could just do like a quarterly or a biannual 15-minute Zoom meeting of like, hey, where are the rents? Because really what you want them to confirm is where are the rents, and you confirm your own values because you're real estate agents. Make sense? Then you jump in with someone else to help with strategies. Okay, so let's talk about, we're like, okay, well, how do we make this happen? Because, so here's a good example. Oh, this property is awesome. So I love SpongeBob on the microwave. So I like showing before and after photos because lots of people will just like over improve. Me too, but I don't any longer. I'm like really tight of like whatever the market is to maximize my cash. So these are called Kodiak cabinets, shaker style. That's granite, right? Now this is probably 8 years ago style of what was more popular. What's popular now? Quartz and white, right? Quartz and white. So what do we put in? Quartz and white. I don't have to think about it. I put the least expensive quartz countertop in and white cabinets. So here's a good example of this. So that asset that you bought for $227 is still worth $400,000 because you got an amazing deal. Pocket listings, right? Or SOI, or you're out marketing. Here's the cool thing. So the value of this is sick. We did this today. if the value is 400,000 at 5% compounding on top of each other, in 30 years is 1.78 million. Is that amazing? That's amazing. Oh wow, is more than amazing. Like, yeah, this is amazing. So like one a year or one every other year or whatever you can budget, one every 3 years, right? Like bring in credit partners, like open up like how partnership will be a different conversation. That would not be a free class. Like, but like do deals, okay? Like get involved with this. So that's the cool thing is, so like the properties I bought in 2006, which is 18 years ago, I'm selling them. I have no emotional ties. It's okay, here's a quick story. I got a rental
Should
in
she
Kearns.
pause the video?
No.
Okay.
Okay, I bought a rental in 2009 at the auction. You guys know what the auction is? Foreclosure auction? For $95,000.
Wow.
Okay? So someone bought it for probably 85. They sold it to me, made 10 grand. Because they literally told me, like, I got a day to decide it. I don't like buying properties that way any longer, just because I don't want to have to decide in a day. But probably if it came back, I would be like, oh yeah, it kind of sounds fun. Okay? So I bought it for $95,000. I'm now selling it for $400,000. Okay? We're gonna list it in about 2 weeks. The tenant, how much is he? How much is it?
150. Wait, how? Sorry, I answered.
The tenant, this same tenant has lived there the whole time.
Yeah.
From 2009 to 2016. He was the previous owner. He foreclosed. I knocked on the door, said, hi, Mr. I'm sorry that you lost your house. I'm the new owner. Would you like to move out or would you like to pay rent? How much would you charge me in rent? Probably like $850 back then, maybe $950. And how much did he pay when he just moved out?
Like 1,700.
So we charged him lesser rent because he was the previous owner and lived there for so
And we
long.
didn't do any. There was
We
no
did
work
no
done.
we did no improve like
Literally.
no improvements. It needs everything. Okay, so grab your calculators real quick. Okay, so let's do. Let's call it $1,200 a month times 12 times 16. How much is that? I'm averaging the cheaper rent versus $1,700. Grab your calculators real quick. So $1,200 a month on average times 12 months times 16. $230,400.
Why is it about 16 years that he lived in?
Hell yeah.
Wow.
Okay, hell yeah. That's one rental property. I've probably put, I put a new roof in.
We replaced the furnace.
We replaced the furnace. I put a half shower in. We put in new windows. And we painted the outside. That's it. Side. So let's do this.
But are you renovating it to sell?
No.
as well?
Over the whole time I've had it, that's
That's
all I've
over
done.
the time, but are
Yeah.
you gonna rehab
Yeah,
it?
yeah, I'm rehabbing it to maximize it, yeah. So, it would not get FHA financing in the condition that it's in right now. So the roof was probably $4 grand back then.
It's those days.
Yeah, me too. The furnace was probably $1,500 back then. The windows were probably $2,000 back then. 2,000. And the half bath was probably $2,500 back then.
Why did you add the half bath?
So he had,
previous seller was-
yeah, so he only had one bathroom. So he had a 3/4, great question, he had a 3/4 shower that was just unfinished. Him and his family living there.
Oh, okay.
So I'm like, it
Okay.
was real, yeah, unfinished 3/4 shower. I'm like, I've made a couple bucks. Like, yeah, I can add a 3/4 shower for you and your wife. And the ones I went there, I've not been there. I should pay him more money when he sell it. I'm paying him. I'm giving him some money when, because
He
He's paid me
just
a lot of
transitioned
that.
to another rental. He didn't buy.
of course he didn't buy
Yeah,
it.
he's still the same.
It's like in his 70s.
Same guy.
He didn't live with his daughter.
She moved out. It was just him and we.
Oh, all right. Anyway,
Did you ask him to move out? or-
yeah, because I want to sell the property. Yeah, I'm done with it. Like, I'm gonna 1031 and buy a fourplex for like 800 grand. Yeah, and then I'll hold that for 10 years and it'll be, yeah, it's too big. Yeah, you got it. Yeah, she likes it. Like it.
I'm paying attention.
Yeah, yeah. So here's the cool thing. Like, this looks amazing and this is amazing, right? So you have 10 of these and what does that do? Moves the needle in your life. Doesn't mean you quit being an agent, you just do things differently. Okay? So this is what's sick. So if you're out of pocket the 30 grand and you finance the rest, and the final value is 1.728, that's a 5,663% ROI.
Wow.
Yeah, so
It's decent.
Which even at
it's
10
more than
seats,
it's
so-
more than decent.
We're all thinking, woo!
Yeah, but here's the crazy thing, like, no one, I don't know. It's harder than you think, but it's easier once you get going, if that makes sense. Like, those agents are here. Like, sometimes I just helped 2 agents buy 3 flips in the last, like, 3 weeks. And they're, like, very aggressive, a little too aggressive, and I'm like, well, how much money do you want to make on your flips? They're like, we don't know. I'm like, well, how the hell do you not know? They're like, well, what's your goal next year? They're like, oh, well, we haven't thought about that. I'm like, okay. What'd you make as a realtor? X. What'd you make as a realtor? X. Okay. So what do you want to make in addition to being a realtor? X. What do you want to make? X. You came up with numbers. Like, cool. Now, to make that much money, do you want to do less deals or more deals? Oh, I've never thought about that before. I'm like, oh, that's okay. What if you did less deals and you made sure your deals were more profitable so you could maximize your goals? You're like, that's a great idea. I'm like, I've flipped 13 houses in a year before and it was like crazy. Like, I'm gonna do like 1 a quarter. A profitable deal a quarter, another 1 a quarter, another 1 a quarter. You make some extra money and you can do some fun stuff. Does that make sense with everyone? Okay, cool. So let's talk about the last 30 years. Silverbacks. Anyone who has gray hair, I don't, and I don't color mine.
Beard count at all?
Yeah, I got gray beard.
Yeah.
A mean Mexi stash. But like, let's think about the last 30 years. Like, 30 years was in 1994, when I was a sophomore in high school. Like, gas was $1, right? Houses were really cheap. You could buy McDonald's for actually $1 or less for a long time. Now it's like $7. You're like, it doesn't taste that good either. It's the same as before, probably the same food. So you got to think about, like, things are going to keep going up. You just got to be conscientious and leverage your risk to move forward. Okay. So here's how financing works. This sucks. When we updated this, I used to charge 4 points on hard money, all day long, dude, all day long. Yeah, what? So I'm gonna say for 100% financing, 2.5 points, which most people don't do 100% financing, especially right now. They require you to put 10 to 20% down. So, like, I'd rather charge a little extra, 0.5%, because all I look at is the risk for me, right? What's the risk for me? And at the end of the day, the less money you put in a deal is your higher ROI. So for me, it's math. This is like, I want to put the least amount of money in a deal and make the biggest return. It's not, I want to put the most amount of money in the deal and make an okay return. I'm all about maximizing return. So if you're going to buy a property for a rental refinance, or people call them BRRRRs, you normally want to do those under 4 months. Like, you get a 4-month loan or less. If it takes more than 4 months, you're not focusing on it. Okay? That means you're doing the work yourself. I'm talking more than one person here. Okay? So the point though is, I'm gonna give you guys a step line of what you got, and you guys can take photos. I'm gonna give you, like, this is what I would do before I bought the property, so you have a schedule of what to do. Because here's what happens. The investor goes and buys the house, and they start demoing shit, and then they're like, oh, I don't know what to put back together. Then they use a brand new contractor that they have zero relationship with, and they're gonna drag their feet. They're gonna charge them a huge deposit up front because the investor doesn't know any different. And then they don't know, like, what sequences should be going, and things are gonna keep going. And then, like, the plumber's gonna be like, well, I need this person to be done, and then the electrician's gonna be like, I need this person to be done. That's not correct. You need to finish your job, and then you'll come in for 3 hours at the end and finish. Like, you got it. So the way Tony Robbins has taught me, it's like, you model success, just model people that have already done it before. It's easy. Lots of you guys do real estate coaching, you just do real estate investing coaching. You model people that have done it more than you, so you're just like, oh, cool, I'm just gonna copy what they're doing with the marketing. So this gives you a quick example. You demo. So this is before, you buy the property, you demo. You plan out your rough electrical, your rough plumbing, you clean up the exterior. You should all do that in the first week. Okay, second week. You have your layout configuration. Here's why the second week. Sometimes when you demo stuff, your eyes kind of mind open, you're like, oh, okay, I need to change things now. So after you kind of like open up, you get all the crap out of that, then you can kind of see like, okay, what do I really have? So layout configuration, then you start doing sheetrock, texture, and windows. Ideally, while you did your due diligence, you've already measured the windows and you put a deposit right before closing. So then, like, it's on a sequence. So if it's 3 weeks out, no big deal, or 2 weeks out, depending on who you work with. Week 3, now this is stuff to model. You're painting. So think about it. You're done texturing. You're painting the house. You're putting the flooring in, tile, finished carpentry, and cabinets. Think about this. Cabinets are taking about 3 weeks. So if you've already figured out your configuration ahead of time, then you're putting your cabinets in. Where a lot of times people don't order their cabinets till they're completely done, then they're waiting 3 weeks, then they're spending a ton of money on hard money or opportunity costs or their own cash or HELOCs or whatever. So it's just following the sequence. I definitely have friends that do it faster than me, but I don't know anyone who does as many different revenue streams and does them efficiently like I do. If that makes sense. So I definitely have friends that are more specialized in different things, but I can follow lots of different sequences. Week 4. Remember, this is for a remodel for hard money, not a fix and flip. Okay, little difference for fix and flip. More intensive remodels. You do finish electrical because you've already painted. You do finish plumbing because countertops are in, right? Put carpet and final cleanup. So maybe that extends 2 extra weeks. So it's a 6-week remodel. But if you think about it, what you don't do is you don't go buy the property and then be like, oh, I gotta go find my contractors. You gotta be proactive. And you already gotta know what your numbers are up front or have a really good idea. So then when you're vetting the properties, you find out if you're in alignment with the deal or not. And if you're not in alignment, you just go buy a different house or don't worry about it. Do you have any questions of this? This is like worth like $10,000 right here, just following a sequence of what to do.
So you said this is for only finance for rental
Yeah,
grade.
rental grade stuff. So if you think about it, you're putting like laminate countertops in versus like Formica. So you get like a Home Depot, 10-foot cabinets. They already have them in stock. So you install the cabinets and the countertops at the same time, cut out the sink, and you're done. Versus like you put the cabinets in, you got to get a fabric because you're not putting ports in rentals. Okay, then you're gonna wait 2 weeks for them to come and fabricate, measure, template it, then fabricate, blah blah blah. Some of you guys are gonna go to the quarry house because you want to pick it out. Like, dude, no, it's just me. Here, just look at that, right? $23,400. Just you guys can take a photo. I'd be like this for wealth, whatever. Like, just do that, okay? This was a flip in Sugar House on Emerson Avenue. So this is just a different example with how we remodeled. We put can lights in, but like, look, you couldn't really tell this was 10 years ago. You guys, does it look 10 years ago? Not really. Maybe that quartz or granite, but yeah, this is 10 years ago flip that we did in Emerson. One of my, only pretty good, seriously. Okay, cool. Hey, you guys are sitting in front. All right, cool. Here's a different property. This is in Magna. Okay. Why I want to share this as an example though is check out the configuration. Literally, right? The door was over here. We changed the other side. So like sometimes when you go through things, you need to go through a couple times. Sometimes you might have someone who has more experience what you're doing. What you don't want to do is bring 5 other people who have no idea what they're doing because then you're just going to talk forever. Like, oh, we should all do this stuff. No, just like get someone that's more experienced. Like when I do my flips, I hire a designer at the beginning of the year, and I'm like, I want one scheme to do all my houses. So one scheme could be 2 paint colors, 2 carpet colors, 2 laminate colors, 2 tile colors, 2 fixture colors, and that's it. So guess what I do? I'm like, okay, this one's over 700,000, we're going this one. This one's under 500,000, we're doing this one. And then on the exterior of the house, I might pay them to tell me what colors, but guess what color every house has been? White on the outside. They're all freaking white. Because it looks so good. Even my own house is white now. I'm like, I got a white house. And I'm half Mexican. I was like, I want a brown house. Okay, like, yeah, just that color's not good right now. Just white. It looks really great. So the point though is you gotta think about what you're doing before you're starting your projects. Okay, so think of this. Now, while you're doing the remodel, you start the mortgage at the same time. Where most realtors, or not just realtors, most investors don't start this until the house is done. So they just burn another month of interest and another month of rent. Okay, so here's the process. So one is week one, you're starting to advertise that property as a rental immediately. Cause you're gonna, and so let's say we bought a property tomorrow. What's today? Oh, today's the end of taxes. You do your taxes?
Of course not.
You haven't sent them today yet?
Yeah.
I did mine on Friday.
Yeah.
You write a check?
Yeah.
You're getting money back.
Yeah, I wrote a check.
Good job, dude.
From my equity line.
Good. I can help you with that. Okay, so it would be a good example. If I bought a rental tomorrow, I would advertise December 1st to move in. Okay? December 1st, right now, like today, I would start advertising, this property will be available December 1.
But since people are very visual, what pictures are you using? The old photos to market? the
Now,
property?
I could use, how about, I could use the exterior of the photo and what type of finish work it will be. Does that make sense? Like, I'm like, it's gonna have this color cabinets, kitchen, because my rentals look like this, and it's gonna have these color walls and carpet, and it's gonna be a 3-bedroom, 2-bath bungalow.
Yeah, new builds do that all the time.
Yeah, what's the difference?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, not the actual house.
Yeah.
You're to finish it.
Yeah, you got it.
Yeah.
So application, you apply for the loan. Second week, you start marketing the rental after you start demos, so you confirm your timelines. Third thing is you're starting to screen applicants, gather the mortgage application items, because you've already gone through underwriting. You schedule the appraisal. Let me show you this real quick. Remember this? Week 3, ideally you're ordering the appraisal because appraisals are taking about a week, right? So you're not getting the property appraised until it's completely done, but you're just being proactive to order it. And there's nothing wrong with ordering and saying, oh, it's not done, it's gonna be 5 more days. Like, they're like, okay. Not an appraiser, like, I'm so busy, I'm not willing to wait, right? They're totally good to wait. But I wanted to show that as an example. You order the appraisal, then you start screening your tenants. You have multiple tenants go at the same time, so you don't have to one-off it. Even better, you take a video of the property, you send it to them in a YouTube link. When they apply, they can look at it on their phone, then they're able to see if they're interested or not. Like, trust me, I'm all about being more efficient because I love being more efficient. Week 4, remember, your tenant's done, you choose your renter, you meet the appraiser, you close on the property the following week, which would be like the first week of December. They pay a deposit and move in. It's literally this simple. And tons of people screw this up because they don't know. I didn't know when I started either. So I wrote out a sequence and just duplicating it. And then as it changes, we just make the modification of the sequence. Hold on, everyone get that? Week 5, tenant goes in, you refinance, close and refinance. Everyone got the photos you guys wanted? Okay, cool. Okay, so financing. You gotta confirm that you can get financing before you're doing this, just so you know. But here's what you need now. You need at least a 680 FICO score, 6 months of PITI, that means principal, interest, taxes, and insurance, and your debt to income ratio should be below 45%, ideally. Okay, I don't like getting rentals on DSCR loans or bank statement loans. I like getting Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac, better rates, just more favorable financing.
Matt, are you seeing, on the lending side, are they still generally counting future rent towards income, 70%?
75% of rents. So if you already own the property, you have to get a rental agreement to offset it. If it's on a purchase, you would use future rent on a 1007 or a 216, a rental survey or an operating income statement.
So that's not problematic these days?
No, what's problematic is short-term rental income, because who knows where the hell that is.
Yeah.
So there's no history,
They won't go off of that, right?
no, because it's
Yeah.
speculating. No. It's like what crypto's gonna be doing.
Yeah. Like,
Yes, sir.
So do you, I mean, with as many properties as you have, you've obviously hit the 10 Fannie Mae loans.
Yeah, I hit those in 2016.
Right, so like.
Sorry, 2006.
Yeah, what are you doing to?
That's buy-seller
Free up
financing or
spot.
commercial financing. But let's worry about getting 10 first. Except for Spencer.
Christian's
I
got
have-
more
I
than
have
10.
that.
Okay,
He's
cool.
got that problem too, but.
But I'm sharing for everyone else.
Right.
Yeah.
We can chat about it more.
Okay.
But if you think about it, if I'm selling my Kearns one, that frees up a spot. So guess what I'm gonna do? I'm just gonna buy a fourplex with Fannie Freddie financing. Or I can get commercial financing. Or buy a seller financing. Good question. Because ideally, my wife has 10, I have 10, we'll call it loans. Well, she has 10 fourplexes and I have 10 fourplexes. That's 40 doors, 80 doors.
Okay.
Life's good.
Yeah, more than good.
That's great.
Okay. Financing. So my family lawyer retired literally this last month, named Jeff Brailio. I'm figuring out who I'm going to refer people to now. But I'm going to share this. When you hold properties, when I buy a property, I buy it in my personal name, then I change vesting to an LLC after I get the refinance done. My trust is for my own personal residency. There are some investors that hold properties in a trust. The beneficiary of the trust is the LLC. That's a higher strategy. I could spit game with anyone about that. But for basic stuff, you guys can just do this and solve 95% of your challenges. So that's how you want to hold title, because if you get a loan in your LLC name, a hard money loan, you can't get financing with Freddie Mac. Because you have to, so like there's those little things like that. And ideally you want to work with a very competent lender ahead of time for them to think of like, oh, you need to do this or think about this before you get the financing. So as we wrap up, I like showing comps. So literally we pulled the comps today on this deal. This is a deal in Midvale. The value's 485, 465, 445, 425, 375, 360, 355. I'm on Main Street, so I'm gonna say my value is 400 conservatively. This backs the freeway on Oak Street. We had a property that we had to sell eminent domain to
UDOT?
Yeah, UDOT, thank you. It's like 4 houses down. This house had been flipped 3 times. Flipped it in like 2009. So I remember it. So I'm like, oh, how do these guys do this? Yep, it's on Oak Street. So just showing you, here's how I like, this is my comps of realtors. If you want to get hard money from me, this is what I suggest. You provide comps in the last 90 days within a 1 mile radius, and the total square footage GLA 10 to 15%, higher or lower. Okay, very easy. If you can't follow this, I'm just gonna charge you an extra point because you can't follow those or directions, okay? Because I can't. I'm like, I'm like, because then bracketing.
You get a 2,100 square foot house and you won't compare it to a 2,400 square foot house?
Well, but
Right.
GLA, you have a basement, you're gonna use that too. So I'm talking about GLA, so 2,400 square foot, let's pretend it's 1,200 up, 1,200 down, so then you'd go 2,350 up, or sorry, 1,350 up, 1,350 down, that would get you to 2,700. That's why I'm focusing on the GLA, so a lot of realtors will only send me, it's all above grade, or it's a basement, this is a 2-story house, like I'm telling you specifically with what, just like an appraiser would do.
Got you.